All right, you guys, Drake Riggs here in Portland at Dante's, and I am joined by the headliners.
Similar Damage, yeah.
All right, you guys, yes, a fantastic show we just saw right there. I mean, fantastic from my perspective, but I always like to ask you guys, like, who were actually performing. How did it feel up there? Did you feel good about it? Just what was your take on what we just did out there?
Really hot under the lights.
Yeah.
It's you're moving around and dancing a lot and trying to get into it. So it's pretty warm, as you can tell. We're all a little shiny, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's our whole lives have been put into this music. So it's a big exciting thing to be able to go up there and take all of that time and energy and put it into a show live on stage. Yeah.
Of course.
The nerves come when you're coming here. And then once you get here and you get on stage, you're like,
once you actually
it's
start,
time to
yeah.
perform.
Is this first time at Dante's?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's about our. We were talking about that earlier. About our 10th. I think?
About our 10th.
Okay.
Between two bands.
Actually, we were here with Nick Olivari at
Okay.
one time.
Okay.
With the Dwarves.
Dwarves,
but he also played
Queens
with
of the Stone Age.
Queens
Oh,
of the
hell
Stone Age.
yeah.
Yeah.
Queens of the Stone Age.
So he played with like Dave Grohl
Right.
and John
Josh
Paul.
Homme.
Yeah,
Josh Homme.
and so like we've actually been here with some pretty famous people.
Yeah,
We
no
played
kidding.
with.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw
We've
Queens.
been very lucky.
I saw
Very
Queens
blessed.
in the Stone Age in October in the Moda. So like,
Oh, okay, yeah.
they're
So they Dwarves, which was Nick Olivari, he was a bass player in.
Yeah, he got brought in after he left Queens.
Yeah.
He got brought back into the Dwarves because they were friends going back to the Caius days.
Yeah,
I'm falling down the rabbit hole. I'm sorry.
all good.
yeah.
We have a great relationship with Dante's. I feel like over the time that we've been here. So every time that we come and play, it's a lot of fun.
Which, shout out also
They just
on
keep
that
giving
note.
us opportunities.
Shout out to
keep
Lexi
playing
on that too.
Oh,
Crisis
Yeah.
Averted Booking. Lexi, if you're a local band and you're looking for somebody to promote you, she's amazing. She's been really good to us and been with us since our previous band.
She got us in here initially, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lexi did with our previous band, Vancouver.
Yep.
Yeah, she got us in here, and we've been kind of back constant since.
Very
Great.
cool. Okay, so you say the previous band then. So were you guys an earlier iteration? Are we missing some people to get to where we are
There
now?
was
How did this come together?
there was 3 others. A couple of them got married and moved away, and so that we're just the remaining.
Okay, the remnants.
Yeah.
We're
The remnants.
the phoenix that rose from the
Yes,
ashes.
perfect.
Of
Initially, we were like, "What do we do? Now, do we keep doing Vancouver as a 3-piece or a 4-piece then?" But and then I think it was the better decision was the one that we made, which was we should just start over with music and take some stuff that Mike had written and go the Similar Damage route. And I think that it was a good move.
When these guys are such great songwriters, Mike can come up with a simple riff. Ben will add a little more complex of a bass line that'll add Mike's contribution to going back and adding more of a complex guitar, and it just kind of builds and builds. And I just try to hold a fill for them to, if I can keep steady beats, let them reality. They go off on their solos, and it's like I love it. Just go nuts, guys. Let me know how many
Do your
bars
thing.
you're gonna play, and I'll end it when you want me to end it. And I enjoy that, watching these guys go nuts and having fun.
Oh,
Man,
totally.
play bongo, man.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go. There you go.
Bongo hit things.
So I think that transitions perfectly to the question of how did Similar Damage come to be in terms of the name? Because I love band name stories. Every name has a
You
story.
want to tell this one, or you want me?
So this is
Ben unfortunately
great.
wasn't there. For
Yeah,
that. I feel like
You missed it?
I feel like an ass.
I had to
still.
leave.
He had to leave.
We were just sitting on the patio, and actually, one of the other members from the previous band, we were sitting there, and we were just talking about how we all grew up with similar damage from our childhoods.
Okay.
And
We've all been damaged. Similarly.
He said we all have similar. we're all similarly damaged. I think
And-
was the actual.
And it was immediately like, Google that and see if that's a taken band name.
right.
And
his eyes, my eyes, and my wife's eyes. Who we were all out on the back porch with this guy, and when he said that, we just squirrel
Popped
what?
up.
Ding! What is that? What did you just say? And he started Mike started searching music websites. I
Right.
just went to Google, and my wife went to every other social media.
it wasn't taken.
It
No,
was
yeah.
available, yeah.
So it was available. And nowadays it's really hard to come up with something
Oh, totally.
unique and
It
new.
is. So to come up with that was just like special. And
Yeah.
you hear it,
But
it stands
realistically,
out.
I feel like everybody has their own personal traumas.
Right, right.
But
And they're all similar too in
yeah,
a weird way.
yeah,
Everybody has-
yeah.
exactly.
Until you
And
break it down, we all have childhood trauma. We all have.
but music
teenage
is what
trauma.
brought us all
Yes.
together. And you know, and it's
That was the
our
therapist.
it's our therapy. Yeah.
I love that, man. Yeah, that's perfectly said, and that's why when I heard the name, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah,
It's a
there's
cool
something
name.
there.
It says a lot. I mean, we don't sit and dwell on the
Right.
trauma of the past or whatever.
No,
but,
God, no.
but if there's one thing that we can all say, then maybe some of us
Gross.
experience some, and then we'll just leave it at that, and then we'll just go right cool.
Perfect. Yeah.
We're all similarly
So, going off that, then, like, I see the Nirvana shirt. I got to ask you guys about inspirations, right? We all take from bands that we love, right? So, for you guys, each of you, which would you say you've taken the most from to put into Similar Damage?
different. Start over there.
Obviously,
with
we heard
I'll
some.
think-
We
I'll
heard
think
some.
about this
We heard
one.
"Killing in the Name" tonight.
Yeah,
Some,
yeah.
some rage. So,
So I was in orchestra programs my entire life until I graduated from school, and so a lot of just like composition in general, and composers of that nature they didn't really inspire me to write the music I do today, but they challenged me to put together complex pieces. But the first time that I ever heard punk rock and then heavy metal changed my life. Forever, in the best way possible, and so bands like Blink 182 is like I'm the Church of Blink for me,
Right.
But Mark Hoppus, the way that he plays the bass kind of challenges me to look at my instrument differently, and play chord shapes and play them fast, and then people like Matt Freeman from Rancid is another huge guy
Great
that
one, yeah.
I idolize. Like he's great because he's just kind of a jazz dude, and he does these complex runs and walks, and so I try and think outside of the box as far as the way that my bass should sound, and kind of put those things in there. But then dudes like I don't know his name, but the bass player from Boston, man, he plays a really nice job of carrying harmony or melody through his lines, and so you'll hear that a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
I try and sit in a pocket that's close to what a vocalist is doing, and at the very least, I just kind of play my bass like a lead guitar player would.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of punk rock and heavy metal, man. If
you
I
can
had
hear
one
it.
thing to thank, dude, it would be them for changing my life and steering me in a direction that's been very positive my entire life. But yeah. Mike, what do you got to say?
Let's see. So, was big into grunge, obviously, in the '90s. So clearly have a lot of grunge influences. A little bit like a metal, my early influences, and a lot of classic rock. But also there's some older bands that I've really been into as well that have influenced my writing style.
okay.
But I think that if you listen to the show, you can tell that it's
Yes.
very grunge influenced. So very late '90s, mid '90s, early 2000, a little bit, but a lot of that in my influences. As far as like the lead parts that I write, I take a lot of inspiration from like Slash.
Okay.
Just because I feel like he has a way of making it like sing, and it's not so much technicality as much as it's about like the motion.
Yeah.
And so I like I do know that I borrow a lot of inspiration from that, but like in all honesty, I could go through every single one of my songs and show you little bits and pieces that I kind of like took inspiration from different things, but we would be here all night. So,
Right.
Nick,
Fair enough.
yeah,
My simplest one is I was 8 years old. I had heard, or I guess I was 7. I heard Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, Paradise City. Went through a Sears catalog, found a little drum set for like $250 and begged my parents for a drum set. So bass, snare, bass, snare. I could look at them and figure it out at 7. Like, I know what these make. I know the sounds. Couldn't afford it, grew up poor as dirt. But then my dad went up to the attic and he pulled out Led Zeppelin 4. And that's,
There
obviously
it is.
the influences, lasted with me. And I heard that and I'm like, what is this?
Right.
And then I started going through all their albums and I found like Tommy, Exile on Main Street, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, all these things. And I was like, my inspiration and it just comes from everything. I could not narrow it down, honestly.
Yeah.
Even going to Elvis is just straight up punk. Some of those drum
Right,
lines
right.
is like, just because there wasn't distortion and it wasn't fast doesn't mean it wasn't
Yeah.
punk. But there's just so many influences. Like, I got Nirvana tattooed here. I got Led Zeppelin here. I got Richie Valens and
There you go,
Kurt
man.
Cobain here. Like, this is too many. I got Dave Grohl tattooed on my chest, for God's sakes. Like, there's too many for me to name.
course,
It's just
of course.
the ADD, the ADHD in me. Music was always, it made sense. Like numbers, it just makes sense to me. That was
Perfect. I know it's a tough question because there's just so many to pick from, right?
There's
But
so
yeah,
many my grandmother was probably the biggest influence. Like,
Same.
she would, she'd listen to Chuck Berry and Elvis Presley.
Oh, there you
and
go.
Just all these old school. That were like, and even like, gosh, she has a couple of Perry Como things where you're like, Perry Como sucks, Grandma. But then you hear a couple of things where he
Well.
actually did some crazy things, and you're like, this guy was actually
like, oh, I get it,
a little
Grandma.
bit punk rock. I get what Grandma was for. Grandma was a wild child. Like, I get it. Okay, cool.
Oh, that's perfect, man. So, okay, speaking of the wildness, before we wrap up here, I always love hearing every band's stories about, wildest show experience. Has there been one that stands out? Crazy crowd, atmosphere, that type of thing?
The show or the after show?
yeah.
Either. Whatever came to mind. Whatever you're
I don't know if I should say this.
Yeah.
So I largely play my shows sober. I like to experience the fear.
Typically.
Yeah. I like to experience the fear, or like the. I'm a shy person in nature, I guess.
Okay.
So I get a lot of anticipation that builds up, and I've learned to embrace that because as soon as you hit the stage, you just let it all go. And
Right.
you're like, fuck, I know what I'm doing. However, because you're sober, you get to choose what kind of dumb shit you want to do. I just have had a lot of sex in that bathroom over there. So that's
I have not. So
yeah.
All right. Okay.
It's fun, man, and it's great. It's only been with one person, but like we love it, man. And every time we do, what? Yeah. This is not a time for that conversation. But we have a good time at this place, and so I think that some of the wilder experiences are more like the shit that I do on my own in privacy
Post-show,
of that bathroom
post-show,
over
yeah.
there. Oh, pre-show actually.
Pre-show.
Yeah.
Get you ready for it.
Yeah. Pre-show, yeah. But I think that those are kind of wild, and I don't know if we are as crazy as maybe some people had or have been, but
with them too
the shit that you guys don't
behind
know
the
or
rest
see
of us.
about me behind doors is the crazy stuff, and it gets a little weird out there, man, especially in that bathroom over there.
Craziest shit I did literally was in that square that literally go over from you 2 feet, and in that square 2 feet was the craziest shit I ever did, at this venue or before or after a show. But I don't want to talk or give
All right.
too many details about it.
In that
Dwarves.
space.
The dwarf show.
We
yeah.
played with the dwarves.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
Yeah, and
We played with the dwarves and we survived.
Yeah.
And they liked us. They actually.
it was a good time.
We can actually I've actually emailed them and they get back to us and shit. Like they actually do.
They stay in touch.
They stay in touch. I gotta say.
Uh,
They're
li-
nice gentlemen.
not necessarily crazy, but I think my favorite show so far was put on by Crisis Averted Booking,
Oh, okay.
Lexi. And we played with Nowhere Fast, another really fun local band, and Flying Whammy,
Okay.
one of my favorite local bands. So we're going to go back
Whammy
up
is
and
great.
redo that show April 13th.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go back, and because we had so much fun the last time we played a show together, I said, that was my favorite show we've ever done. Let's go back and do it. Like just a lot of energy from those people, and it was a good time. So we're going to go redo that show. So I'm really looking forward to that one next month, because hopefully we get to recreate the amount of fun and excitement. But as far as craziest, I will say the Dwarves show here was
I can imagine.
it was packed, and crowd surfing and stuff like that. I mean, that was
wow.
it's pretty
All
crazy.
right.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So, I mean, that's a perfect segue to wrap up, you guys. I mean, you mentioned the show right there, but any other plugs or shows coming up, social media stuff, just whatever you want to share with the fans that you can look forward to, new songs, all that good stuff.
April 13th in Bremerton. What is the venue called?
The Charleston.
The Charleston,
up
yeah.
in Bremerton.
Yeah. I have another band, Martyr Hill.
Okay.
And
Heard of them?
We're brother and sister group.
Yeah.
Of each other, I guess. I don't know which one's the sister. Probably us, right? I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
But we're the top
But
sisters.
yeah. The 13th.
okay.
Yeah, we're the Rough Riding Sisters.
Or the 14th at the Bomber. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
That'll
right.
be a lot
You
of
guys
fun
got
show.
that too.
Yeah, that one. That show is going to be badass. The bands that are playing there that night, outside of us being great,
Right.
are fucking phenomenal. So we're looking forward to that one. Yeah, we just kind of take them show by show as they come. We have regular day jobs, right?
Yeah, we are.
So
yeah.
Which
so
definitely check out.
we're not out touring and going
Martyr-
crazy, but
check out Martyr Hill. Check out Flying Whammy. Check out
Nowhere Fast.
Nowhere Fast. They're not together anymore, but look at Stop. Like there's a lot of great bands floating around. Yeah, no, I heard that earlier. I know it sucks, but there's a
don't
lot
tell
of
it.
great local bands
Paul
out there.
Took a job up in Everett.
that are-
He is going to be at the Charleston on the 13th.
There's a lot of great bands,
Yeah.
folks. Go look
Yeah.
up your
Talk to
local
his brother,
band and
yes.
support them.
Yeah, the local music community is a lot like a family, so we're big into supporting
It's not
everybody.
a competition; it's a cooperation.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's
perfectly
work
said.
together. There's a lot of
You want to
great
give a
bands.
shout out to your grandma and her old record? No.
Yeah.
Okay. That's he's good. Okay.
I think she's dead. She won't hear it.
Hey, she won't hear
I
this.
gotta
Yell loud. She's 6 feet under and 50 miles away.
Hear
Okay,
that,
this is
Grandma.
why we don't let him have a microphone.
All right, well, similar damage. You guys, awesome stuff. Great show. Looking forward to the ones coming up, and best of luck with everything. Thanks so much for taking
Thank
the
you.
time,
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Yeah.
thank you.